Good evening, everyone. We'll be starting in just a couple minutes. Rachel, I'll give you magic access. Hi, Nikia.
Good afternoon. Hi, John. You admitting people?
Yep.
Okay, great.
I'm going to share screen up. All right, everyone, we'll start in about 4 minutes. Thank you for joining us. So let's see who we got. We got Aisha, Cindy, Daryl. Good to see you, Daryl. Dwayne, Galaxy 56 Edge. That's a great name. Your mother was very inventive. Jamila, Kieran. Good to see you, Kieran. McKinney, Margaret, the photographer genius at large. Mark, good to see you, my friend. Nalisha, Nakia. Nalisha's here. I'm happy you're here. Nikisha, Sahida, Rory, congratulations making the trek again, my friend. Shanette's here. Hold on, you guys are moving quickly. So Yanni, Yari J, A Piera. This is awesome. I'm glad you're all here. So we'll start in 3 minutes. We like to start on time.
Yes.
So tonight's class, by the way, is on Zoom meetings, which we're running. Obviously, if it's not obvious, you're on Zoom now. So I think this will be an invaluable meeting for all of you. Okay, start in about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You just move around a bit.
1 minute to launch, everyone.
We should do a countdown.
We should.
10, 9, 8.
Well, according to my clock here, I have about 33 seconds. So I can, if you, we should, but that's a little silly. But I'm all for silly. 25 seconds to go, peeps. We're gonna legit start this on time. Like we're not even gonna be 10 seconds late. 15 seconds. Get near your phone. Oh, the iPhone is back. Someone. I love it when people's Zoom names are the name of their phone. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone.
Let's get started.
Great to see you. So thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. This is night 2 of the Online Business Success Challenge. I'm here with super amazing Rachel Hunt.
Hi.
And tonight you're going to absolutely love. It's probably one of the more important topics for everyone here and everyone who happens to see the replay in the future. And that is the concept of actually having meetings virtually and online. One of the things that, so Rachel and I work together, and we meet virtually every time we work, probably 3, 4, 5 times a day, entirely, not entirely, but primarily using the service. And the benefits are beyond measure for the service. And what's great is because of the demand that Zoom has had, which is what we're getting into, there's been a lot of upgrades and changes they've made to the software in the past even month or two because of
It's
the
a couple
level
of
of
days.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually moving and changing while we're literally in it now. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, so let's jump into it. Okay. So welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time. Again, this is day 2 of 5 of the challenge. Last night we did an overview and we kind of gave you a lot of meaty ways to think about how to use and take your business virtual. And we're very excited that we're going to be showing you all the tools throughout the week. So this will be one of the critical ones, which is what we put in front. So today is all about Zoom meetings. So if you have questions, please do us a small favor. The text box, which we have people messaging saying hi, good afternoon, good evening, I love you guys saying hi. Put your questions there, and I promise you we'll go through them. Another option is to raise your hand in the Zoom software, and that's fine, but I still want you to put the message in
In the
the
chat.
actual thing.
And
And if you don't want me or Rachel to actually publicly say, hey, Candace has a question, and Candace doesn't want to be embarrassed by her question. Candace, pretend it's Candace, by the way, I put you on the spot, Candace. If it's you, then you can just send it privately with, say, someone who chose to remain anonymous had a question. Here's the question. We don't have, so if you're uncomfortable with us asking it publicly, don't sweat it. We're happy to do it. So
right.
everyone benefits and you get your question answered. But just put it in the chat box.
And I think that could actually be the start of our training for today, because some people may not know where the chat box is, right?
Yes.
So let me just admit this person in. So all of you should have your Zoom screen open. If it isn't open, then look to the bottom of your taskbar and you would see the Zoom icon. So it looks like a blue camera, I guess, is the best way to describe it. So click on that and it should open up your Zoom screen where you would be seeing our share screen, right? At the bottom of that, you would see your mute button, your stop video. You would see invite and you should see share, and then you see chat. So if you click on chat, it should open up the chat box, right? Now you would see everyone on chat. And if anybody is lost, well, you all can't chat as yet, right? When it opens up, you will see 2 and there's the option for everyone. If you click on that drop down, then you can choose John Ruman, Rachel Hunt, or you could choose any of the people that are on this as well, right? And they have it apparently in alphabetical order. So you can do that so to send to specific people, right? So everyone will get the message, or you could send it specifically to one of us, right? So hopefully everybody got that, and we'll go over the chat again as part of the training. I just wanted to jump in case people didn't know where the chat was.
How the heck am I supposed to chat? Yes.
Yes.
And the benefit of using chat is you can talk to people. So it also is very helpful. And again, we'll get into this in a moment, but and just in case we forget, if you can't hear something or whatever, we can also help diagnose. And if audio or video aren't working, if anything doesn't work, it's audio or video, we can kind of help you in the chat, because that usually tends to work regardless.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next slide. Okay. So Zoom Cloud meetings. What is Zoom Cloud? Well, do you want to go over what it is, Ms. Rochelle?
Yeah. So Zoom Cloud Meetings is an app that you can use to talk with persons, to connect with persons virtually. Now, in terms of whether it's a free version or a paid version, you have the free version of Zoom, which you can download on your phone, your laptop, your tablet. It works on most devices. And the free version one-on-one. So when John and I are talking, we could use the free version and talk for as long as we want. It's not an issue, and you have access to most of the parts of the program. There's also the paid version, which will allow you to have meetings. I believe it's up to 100 persons in the meeting, John?
Correct.
In the paid version. However, in the free version, once you have more than 2 people, it's a group, of course, and you only have 40 minutes free. After the 40 minutes, persons could click back on the same link that you would have sent originally, and you can rejoin the meeting. So you can have a meeting with a group on the free version for as long as you want. You're just going to have to stop every 40 minutes and enter again into the meeting, right? It is a really good app. It's really stable in the sense that if you have internet like I do, which is the flow version, the lowest one that they give, Zoom works really well. Other platforms, they take a lot of bandwidth, so it may not be as clean. You end up being pixelated and all of that. With Zoom as well, if you happen to get a drop in internet, it actually would kind of save where you were and kind of push the audio forward. So it works really well. And sorry, there are a lot of things in Zoom that you can use for teaching others and for having meetings as well, which we will go into. Anything to add?
Nope, that's good. So what it is, I think we just pretty much covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is it used? So on the simple level, it can be a one-on-one meeting. That could be intra-office. It could be a sales meeting. By the way, if you don't have pens and papers writing this stuff down, please get your pen and pencil or whatever. Start writing this stuff down because I want you to leverage all the ideas. And I often encourage people, even if it doesn't seem to be something that you can use now, if you write it down and have this as something you periodically check on, it'll allow you to leverage it for ideas later without having to rethink these ideas. So I would say meetings, sales meetings, something like this, like a challenge. You could even teach classes on here because you notice it looks fairly professional, right? Because you have us on the side, you have the actual image on the screen, you have the ability to do Q&A. The only thing that it doesn't really have, let's say a webinar software, which is people can unmute their mics. It doesn't have control. So I can mute people, but people can unmute themselves, whereas a webinar style software would kind of limit that. But I would say that's a non-issue, especially with the new security things they've added, because you'll have less people who come on that you don't know that haven't legitimately gone through the process of signing up for whatever you're selling. What are the things you think, online classes could also be something people use it for? So
definitely, because we have the whiteboard and the annotations and all of that, so it could be used for online classes. I really think Zoom is a great program for teachers who are doing lessons for children because you can share the screen and the person can control the screen as well, so it's really great for that. We have, I think I mentioned yesterday, we had a gym instructor using Zoom for his classes, right? So you could really get inventive with what you use Zoom for. And, people kind of have this idea that you need to be face-to-face with the person in order to have whatever business is going on. But we see now that it works really well online and you still have basically the same effect as if you were face-to-face. You're able to see each other. The reason why my mic muted, I'm trying to enter people into the group, and John is adding them faster than me, so I end up clicking mute for myself.
that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
I'm racing Rachel
Yeah.
to admit you to lose.
He's winning. So one of the things we're going to discuss is the challenges of Zoom, right? And one of the things is that Zoom has put in meeting passwords for all of their meetings. It was an option before, but they are really suggesting that they do it because what's happening is that they have a lot of hackers coming in to the Zoom program and just doing lots of silly things. So before you could just click on the link and enter into the meeting, but now you have the waiting room and you have to click for access. So if you were using Zoom before, then we do suggest that you do that meeting password, and then the person will have to wait for the host to start the meeting, and you would have to let them into the meeting, which is what we are doing right now. So people are still entering the meeting room as we are presenting.
And one small thing that I find a big thing, because it can be annoying, is when people come on normally. So many of you have been on Zoom meetings. There's a notification bell that rings when people come on. So for example, right now we're 59 people. We'll probably be 65 people here in a couple minutes, right? If we had 65 dings the entire time we're talking, it would kind of get old, I would hope. Hi, Judy. So here's the thing with that. There's a setting you can do to actually turn that off, which we did the other day, because otherwise
Yeah.
I would, maybe most of the people couldn't care less, but for me, it distracts from teaching, and it may be distracting for you to actually get the information you're trying to get, because it's a ding, 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 ding. So small thing, but it all adds up. All right, so let's go. So why should you use Zoom? Well, I hope this is obvious, because you are at home right now, because you at this point can't go out except to do extremely necessary things. And most people in most fields of work are home. So
Yeah.
because of that, you now, assuming you have a business or want to start a business, there's things you need to do that will leverage being virtual with the world. And one of those major things is meeting with existing prospective clients, people you collaborate with, whatever. So here's the other great thing. So we're this group that we actually have outside to kind of take what we're talking about here on a more in-depth side.
Mm-hmm.
It's based in Trinidad. And here's the challenge with Trinidad. Everyone knows this. This is not a secret that I made up. The biggest challenge personally when I came to this beautiful country was traffic. I could not believe that it would take an hour what used to take me 10 minutes where I lived before. The reason I bring this up is, regardless, let's say in May 1st, everything is semi back to normal. Why would you spend 2 hours in traffic for a 20-minute meeting when
Mm-hmm.
you could quite simply hook up like this and even have 2 20-minute meetings with time to take notes between and get much more done? And it's not that I don't see the benefit of meeting face-to-face and getting that physical connection. That's always a value. But
Mm-hmm.
you can see the people. I see Rachel. She and I work together all day long. And honestly, because we see each other all the time, we don't have the video on most of the time because we're like looking at stuff, sharing it on screen. But if you're meeting someone, this is kind of like seeing them across the table, and you can make the person full screen and you can really see them. You can see their body language, etc. So it's a wonderful tool, and please explore the ideas and the possibilities, because it is probably increased in usage by 1,000-fold in the past month and a half because
Mm-hmm.
of everything that's happening. And obviously it's the rage because no one else has as good a program that has all the benefits that Zoom does. The only one that comes close is, that I'm aware of, there probably are others, but is something called Google Hangouts. That's the closest one, but this one really does an exceptional job. And Google
I,
Hangouts just, go ahead.
I think that kind of gets into the question. We have some questions here. So the first person, Cindy, asked, how do we take off the ding? I know we had to go in settings on Zoom itself, so if you could give a little explanation on that.
I will take you in the back door of my account.
Mm-hmm. So
You're
Cindy,
good.
this is your answer here.
Yep, it's zoom.us. That's a great question. And I tell you what, while I'm looking for that, so you guys can watch me browsing my account, I will, yeah, so I'll get to it. So you go to, I know you go to my account, so you have to have an account, and an account's free. Don't worry about that. And then, sorry, I have all your chat windows in my way. I gotta move them all. Let's see. I'm trying to remember where. Well, we can kind of go into this briefly, because everyone has a personal meeting ID, which is kind of like a default one, so you don't have to send out unique ones every time. Problem is, this is why people, by the way, this is one of the things that people used. They would find people's personal ID meeting,
And
and
just
then
gets into meetings,
they would
yeah.
just get in and draw inappropriate things. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was mostly boys, boys being boys. Okay, so here's the actual meeting. That doesn't help. Hold on. Not a
Settings.
webinar. Not a webinar. Okay, so the recordings. No, I personally. So one thing Zoom gives you on the paid version is you can do local recordings and you can do distance recording. I think it's in the settings here.
Mm-hmm.
Participants audio. There we go. Oh, no. So that's one thing. Because by the way, you can have it so they people just have the audio. There's a lot of sound. Oh, there you go.
Good.
So
Right. Play sound.
okay. So there's your answer. So play sound, and obviously you guys are on silent.
Yeah. So it's in settings on the Zoom itself on your accounts.
And then I want to answer. I had a question very early on. It was in
Yeah.
these days of cybersecurity, using software such as Zoom, which in itself allows hackers to enter our devices while we're on the call. Do you recommend using a specific device that does not have any personal or sensitive data on it? I actually think it's a great question because most people are pretty terrible about keeping their devices secure. So here's the thing. Zoom is software, as everyone knows, that has to go on your device. So if someone figures out how to hack that software, whether it be the phone software or the desktop software, they have a small chance of getting in and potentially getting information. That being said, if that's a concern, the challenge with this is, unfortunately, the best way to host Zoom is on a desktop, laptop, kind of, a full computer. I would not encourage anyone here to actually be doing the Zoom meetings as a host on your phone. You also cannot record on your phone. So I would say that would be a no-no as well. I see there's other questions as well. So I hope that answers your question. So I would, if you have an inexpensive computer that you can do it with, great. But that's the only challenge. You will need an actual computer that doesn't have any information if you want to keep the information secure. But I totally respect that concept. And I do know people that take security as that important in the business, and they have computers just for, they call them a dummy machine that literally just has a blank operating system, etc. So that is an option. So.
Right, and Shelley-Ann wanted to know, how does Zoom compare with Skype? And in terms of the capabilities of Zoom, with the annotation, the recording, the share screen, being able to control the other person's screen, the chat, all the different things that Zoom has, there are many, many capabilities, and I said with the free version or with the paid version as well. So if you just want to talk on Skype, I haven't used Skype in so long. What are the capabilities of Skype for you, John, in terms of what they have compared to Zoom? So you kind of use it sometimes.
I use it. My issue with Skype, so Skype requires a Microsoft account. So Hotmail, Live, Outlook, whatever their account email address is at the time. My only challenge that I've ever had, and this actually goes back to the individual who's asking about security, is I've been locked out of stuff and not able to get in and almost missed meetings because I was out, or password got messed up or whatever, and they had like all these different layers of authentication, and maybe my phone device changed that would do the authentication. So I had challenge because it was so secure to get in. That was my biggest thing. There's two versions of Skype. So there's the version that all of us regular people use, and then there's a corporate version. I had a meeting before all this stuff happened, and the meeting was with a local multinational company, and they had the corporate version of Skype, and I was trying to talk to them on the normal version of Skype. And it was kind of like a mini window. It was terrible user experience from me interacting with them. I mean, they were able to do stuff kind of similar to how you can on Zoom, share screen. You can share files in Zoom. You can do all that stuff, but because it was a web-based application for my end, because on my end it wouldn't connect to the normal user Skype that most people here would have, it was a very poor experience. I was honestly disappointed, and I was like, wow, can we do this on Zoom? They're like, no, we have this Skype and it's so good. And it was very unpleasant, and I encouraged them to consider other options, because it was very subpar. And I'm like, guys, I'm trying to sell to you right now, and you're making me feel like you're amateurs. Anyway, anyway, so all right, we'll do one more question because we're only about halfway there. So we'll do one more question, then we'll do Q&A again. So
at the end. Right,
Uh,
so Dwayne wants to know, how do you set your profile photo instead of sharing video?
okay, that is a great question. So obviously, if you start video, here's an image. So to get that image, which I'm sure is what you're looking for, I'm pretty sure it's in profile. There it is. Look at that handsome guy. So I can change that and I can make it whatever you want. So it's you go to my account, profile, and then the image will be right there. So thank you for that question. I'm glad I was able to find the answer to it nice, quick, and simple. And I would encourage that, by the way, if you use Zoom, especially for business, take a moment to actually get a nice picture and put it there, because when you're doing the video and not showing the video, you want to set an expectation of professionalism or whatever, and it doesn't take any more effort to get a nice picture than a crappy picture. So
Yeah.
take the extra 30 seconds, get something nice, and put it on there. In my experience, I encourage people to have a square version of every one of their profile pictures, just because it may not necessarily go with every social media thing, but a lot of software has the ability to have like your picture there, and it's a good thing to have if you have square pictures. All right.
Awesome. So we have more questions, but we'll come back to them
Yeah,
when we're
we won't
through.
forget you, peeps. Promise, promise.
Continue
Okay.
putting your questions in the chat.
Yes, keep the questions coming. That means there is interest here. Okay, so share screen. So I'm going to share my, so share screen. I will tell you what you can share, because unfortunately you cannot see my screen.
Yeah, we could just
But
walk them through. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to click the share screen. I'll tell you what pops up. So one is desktop. So it's everything on the desktop, but how Zoom works, and I'll share it. You see right now, I'm assuming you guys see the group chat here, right? On the lower left?
Group chat on the lower left.
Yes or no? Because in my experience, Zoom was intelligent. No, I guess not, because
No.
you would see it. Okay, so Zoom is very intelligent in that it will make itself invisible when you share the desktop. So it'll put, let's say you have another piece of software up, it'll put that on the desktop.
Right. So what we could do is probably give them a little walkthrough. So the same way how you guys would have seen the chat at the bottom of the screen, when you click on the where you are in Zoom right now, seeing the screen, seeing John, there's a green button that marks, it says share screen. So y'all could do this as well while we're walking you through. You wouldn't share your screen, don't worry. So go ahead and click on that and you'll get a pop-up, right? When it pops up, you'll see share screen and you'll see the screen that you're on. There's also whiteboard. So if you click on that, then you will have the opportunity to share a whiteboard. You'll see iPhone, and you would see, usually you'd see like a browser where you can share the browser. What it does automatically, so what you guys can do is go ahead and just look at that. People are saying yes. All right, so.
And I can show you guys what the whiteboard looks like if you want to.
Right. So what happens is that you will, yeah, John, you need to stop sharing your screen.
No, because if I don't share mine, everyone else's will pop up.
Yeah. So that is what you do to get the share screen, and somebody started sharing screen, so you could stop Galaxy J6, you got it? All right, and everybody gets to see what's on your screen. All right, so what you all can do is with a friend, yeah, Shadi, I want to see the whiteboard, so John, you could go ahead and show that. You could send a Zoom meeting to a friend and you can check out the share screen option. So this is John's whiteboard. And
by the way, I believe everyone here may have a level to write on it.
They should.
Yeah, so like there's a text option, hello. I can draw, oops. I can draw curvy lines. I can do shapes. I can do arrows. So there's many functions. You can spotlight, so you can like point to things. Like I'm talking about this, you're talking about that. You can do like checks, like a yes, like an X, like a no, a heart, kind of like normal things. You can do a question mark, like what the heck do you mean about that? And you can change the background. If I don't like it, I can clear the whole thing.
Right, so just to go over again, you click on the green share screen at the bottom. That's the only thing at the bottom of your chat that's at the bottom of your taskbar that's in color. So it's green. When you click that, it automatically will share your entire screen unless you click on something else. Once you choose the item that you want to share, don't click it now, but you click on share and it will give you the option to share your screen, and then you can do like John was doing in terms of presenting the information to whoever it is you're talking to. All right? So let's go on to the next one.
Invaluable, by the way. Like you can share your phone screen. You're trying to help someone with a phone problem. You can do a lot of stuff with it.
Somebody asked emojis also. I'm not sure. It's more like a whiteboard in terms
Yeah,
of
it's
drawing.
more. Yeah, it's simple whiteboard. No emojis. It has a star. No emojis. But it does allow text, so you could probably do it via text.
Yeah, you could draw it.
Okay, so you have the ability to record meetings. So for example, I automatically, by default, record meetings as they go.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, if you look at the top left, you'll see either something that says recording or a little blinking red light, which indicates it's being recorded.
Yeah.
But you also have the ability as a participant to record. Mm-hmm. But we're kind of talking about this from you being running the meeting.
As the presenter, yeah.
Yeah. So in the settings, and I'm using a Mac. I'm not sure. There's probably more Windows users on here, but the settings allow you in the basic settings to say, do you want to record or not automatically? And if you don't do it, there's the ability to say start record and stop record and pause and all that. Yeah. So very useful because, for example, this class, right? People's like, hey, I want a recording because they know it's going to be recorded. And you can upload it to YouTube as an unlisted or private video. You could maybe put it on some online class program. It allows you to use it elsewhere. And the recording makes it so that people can watch it later, and you can maybe even sell it if it's something that is worth selling or sharing in that sort of format in the future.
Yeah, so Monique, participants do have to ask permission from the host to record, and there are a couple other permissions that are needed from participants according to the settings. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so using your video. So obviously, like you can see myself and Rachel, when, like the gym instructor, for example, they were actually teaching stuff using their camera. So they set up their camera on their computer, their desktop, and they literally were teaching classes across the room, and they had an audio that would be able to pick them up, and that's how they're able to do it. You could also even have a whiteboard here. Mm-hmm. And I believe in the settings you have the ability to flip orientation, because sometimes cameras, when you write left to right, it kind of goes opposite on the camera, so that may be something you have to check. But video is important because it allows people to get a connection with you. So I would encourage you to do that when you're actually teaching people, because you want them to get to know you and your mannerisms, etc.
But one of the things with videos, especially if this is the first time you're using Zoom, is to know how to stop your video and to start your video, right? So down to the bottom where you have your, right now, my audio, you're seeing it moving green as I'm talking. Right next to it, you have stop video. So if you join a meeting and for some reason you need to walk away from the meeting, you need to be able to know how to stop your video and start it back, because we don't want any mishaps taking place while, you don't want people to see things that they don't need to see, right? So yeah, that's your stop video down on the lower left-hand side, and you can just click it to stop video. So I'll stop my video, and then I can start back. I'm R. I didn't put up a photo.
and along the same lines, right adjacent to it, you're all muted now.
Yeah, so I'm seeing Adele did her video. Nice.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So if you're teaching in class especially, there may be something that comes up. Let's say you got a dog or a child that starts crying. If the moment you hear it, you could mute the sound, turn off the video, and say, hey guys, I'll be 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then other people can continue talking or whatever's happening, and then it doesn't mess things up so much. So, because even if you're in a meeting as a participant and everyone's talking and there's just open dialogue in a small group, it's still nice to be able to mute, stop the video, take care of what you need to take care of, and come back.
Mm-hmm. So, and be aware of that as a participant. No, so you don't have to show your video right now. For all of you, you don't have to. We were just saying that you could, right? And some people tested it out, which is fine, but you don't have to show your video right now. But what we're saying is, as a participant in a Zoom meeting, because this is new to a lot of people, just kind of be aware of your background, be aware of your surroundings, those kind of things, because you want to be as professional as possible. So if somebody is making noise and you know that is going to affect the other participants, you want to turn your video off. I've had some meetings where people rest down their device, their phone or whatever, and they left the meeting. Well, when they walked away, they're in the house, and there's noise in the background, and I'm like, hi, anybody there? Hello? So I had to go in and mute their mic. So just, it's practice good Zoom etiquette with video and with audio as well.
I agree. Okay. So we have a couple more, and then we'll get to your questions. So managing participants in chats. So everyone has so there's two screens, and unfortunately, I don't know if it shows on the share, because I don't think it did, right? Yeah, when I tried to share it, it didn't show it. So the chat we already kind of went over, and that you can click the chat, you can chat to everyone, you can chat to Rachel, myself, someone else, and it allows for a lot of connection there. The other one where you manage participants, do you guys have a manage participants or no? Nothing like that, right?
I doubt they would have it.
I doubt it. Okay, so I'll tell you what it has. It basically has a list of all the people, and then it has 4 icons. One is a camera, if the camera's on or off. So I have, for example, I can turn off Rachel's camera. I can mute her, right? Even though she's a co-host, and she's like, and she'd unmute herself in a second. But if someone raises a hand, I can see if they raise their hand, and if they're recording, it has a little recording option. It also has the ability to give like a yes, no, hey, give us a vote. What do you guys think? Should we do that? And you can have like a yes, no thing. You can have suggestions like go faster, slow down, that kind of thing. There's the ability to raise hands. You guys see the raise hand, I think, on your side. And there's like reactions, which you guys can do, like thumbs up. Yeah, so if you guys see like that kind of stuff, on the host side, we see the thumbs up, the thumbs down, the clapping. Like we can see these emoticons, for lack of a better term, the icons representing that on the host side.
We see people trying them out. Nice,
yes, nice. Yes. I prefer I like the thumbs up. I don't like the thumbs down. Just but the other nice thing is you can unmute everyone or mute everyone. So if you have a bunch of people making noise, you can do that. So for example, Cheryl raised her hand, and I can lower her hand, but so ideally, Cheryl, ask your question in the text, and we'll get to it in 1 second. So that is managing participants. It's more important, truly, if you have people who keep on unclicking their
they're unmuting. But I actually see here where you can allow participants to unmute themselves, and I could actually uncheck that, so participants will not be able to unmute themselves, which is pretty cool as well.
Yes.
So we could actually do that, so then nobody could unmute themselves again.
Oh, see? Yeah. The stuff you learn. Okay. All right, so next slide.
I believe that's it. Question and answer.
Q&A, cool.
Right. So we've been keeping track of the questions, and we will not be able to get through all of them, but we'll try to do as many as possible. Vindra had asked, you all mentioned a lot of features in Zoom. Can all that be done on the free version? Are there any essential features that we might want to use on Zoom, but we can't with the free version? And this is the first time she's on Zoom. So all of the things that we mentioned are on the free version and on the paid version. The only difference is on the free version for groups. So if we were on the free version right now, we would be cutting off this meeting at 40 minutes after we started. So if we started at 5:30, that would be like, 6:10 or something like that, the meeting would cut off, right? But you would have all the same features for
there's nothing here
nothing different.
I mean, there's a couple little things, but primarily 95% of people would be fine.
Nothing essential that you wouldn't need with the paid version. The only difference with the paid version, the major difference with the paid version, I should say, is the ability to do group meetings like these for extended period of time.
And you can have them recorded on the cloud.
Yeah, that too.
So if you are forced to use your cell phone to be a host, you can, it still can get recorded because it'll be recorded on the cloud.
Yeah, but I do think that's available in the free version.
No, that's not in the free. That's one of the
Yeah.
benefits. One other
Of the.
thing
Mhm.
is if you record on your device, your the recording of you and how you sound will be perfect. So even if you happen to break up for 10 seconds and the
Mhm.
participants heard this little breakup, that your side, being the side that's going to be recorded and shared later, sounds perfect. That's another reason why it's really nice, even if you have the paid version, to do it locally, because it's always going to be the audio that is usually what you care about, which is your voice, will be perfect without being choppy if there's some internet slowdown.
Right. Let me see what other questions we have here. So, is the recording available for a finite time, like 7 days, or is it an indefinite period? The recording, we never got that question before, so I'm
So
not
the
quite
recording
sure.
that we're
Go
sharing
ahead,
with
John.
you,
Hmm.
I'm not sure, are you asking the recording we are sharing with you, or if you make a recording?
Oh, the recording for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is. So I'm
Yeah,
going to take it as both questions. One,
sure.
the one that we're going to share with you. So let's say you missed yesterday and you can't make Thursday for whatever reason. We are going to share all 5. You'll get that sometime next week, and you'll have access forever. Okay.
Right.
When you make the recording on your machine, it's just an audio. They give you an audio file and a video file, and then if you have a place to upload that, like Vimeo, YouTube, you can share it with people as long as you have an account there. So hopefully that answers your questions.
Yeah.
So
All right. We could take one more, 6 or 7.
yeah,
All
we can
right.
take
So
one more.
is it necessary to have a co-host? It's not necessary to have a co-host. John and I are doing this together, so he made me a co-host. You can be the host all by yourself for the meeting. There are times when the host actually falls out of the meeting, and Zoom would automatically make someone else the host. That's usually what happens. Or you could give the host privilege to someone, but you can host the meeting all by yourself, regardless of the number of participants.
Mhm.
Right? So I know we have a lot more questions. However, our time is up. We do have a group which is Virtual Working Trinidad and Tobago. It is a paid subscription group where we have this Zoom meeting in further detail, and we have other videos as well. So if you guys are interested in that, you can search for the group on Facebook. It's Virtual Working Trinidad and Tobago, and it is a 3-month subscription, which is 150 TT. We have it at right now at the special. Yeah, 150 TT for a 3-month subscription. So if you want to get more details on Zoom, because there are a lot more features that are available, you are welcome to do that. However, tomorrow we're going to continue our session, and we're going to be looking at online forms, which will be really cool as well. Right? So we hope that you join us for that.
Hey guys, thank you so much. This has been great, and we are sorry we couldn't get to all your questions. We could probably spend an hour easily on the questions,
Yeah.
which is good because that means there's a lot of interest in that. But we do appreciate it, and we apologize and appreciate your understanding if we couldn't get to you.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to keep this concise so the challenge could have maximum impact and keep it within the time that we promised. So everyone here gets the benefit. No one's mad that we're spending 20 minutes answering all these questions.
Questions.
So
Yeah. So guys, use Zoom. Think about ways that you can use Zoom. We're looking forward to you all doing classes and having meetings and doing consulting and all of that over Zoom. This is a challenge for you to get your business online. So we hope that from today, this evening, onto the rest of the week, that you have Zoom on and that you're sending people Zoom links and stuff so that you can have your own meetings just like we did. All right?
yes, so guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. We'll again ask for your feedback in the group, and if there's anything you're looking for specifically when it comes to the forms that we're doing tomorrow in the class, we'll ask that question as well to, because it always, if you have more time to think about a question, it helps with you formulating a question that we can answer. So
Definitely.
you guys are awesome. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Rachel. This has been fun. We shall
Yes.
see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.